Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Files, a Southgate Media podcast dedicated to all things heroes related, including its upcoming sister slash, I don't know, sequel show.
It's brother show.
It's sister show.
What are they calling it? They're calling it the mini event series.
I hate mini event. That sounds so stupid. But
Shall we just call it? Let's call it the Hopeful Anthology Event Show. Yeah.
Whatever it is, we're covering it, along with everything that goes along with it. But on the hunt for specials with me, as always, is
Ricky. Yo.
Up for discussion today is episode 321, Into Asylum.
Religion!
I remember liking this episode better the first time. I'm like you, Ricky. I'm like, dang it, I know it was an episode towards the end that I liked. I just can't remember what it is. It all blurs together, quite honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So let's just get into the recap. Start off with some technical specs. This episode originally aired on March 30th of 2009. We have Joe Pekowski as the writer and Jim Corey as the director. What about that synopsis?
Nathan and Claire go hiding in Mexico. Danko's plan to destroy everyone with abilities is set in motion with an unlikely ally. Sylar acquires a new ability, allowing him to change his appearance. Meanwhile, Angela and Peter seek refuge in a church and begin to mend their broken relationship. I had no idea that their relationship was broken in the meantime. He always liked her, and she always liked him, but yeah, I guess.
After that Sylar thing, it did get a little bumpy.
I suppose, yeah.
He was very cold to her. So yeah. Yeah, that's all that I could really add to it. So we get a shapeshifter, finally.
And then it starts, the shapeshifting gets a bit weird in the next couple of episodes, but yeah, we'll get into that when we get into that. Yeah.
So yeah, let's just get started in the breakdown. Where do you want to start?
I've got like 1, 2, shall we, well...
It's like Nathan and Claire, then it's Angela and Peter, and then basically it's HRG, Sylar, and Danko.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's start with the smaller ones. So, Nathan and Claire. Because...
So, this is what I hate. This is the part that I hated about the episode, actually. Even the first time that I watched it. Nathan and Claire just have no chemistry whatsoever together, in my personal opinion, so this was brutal. So yeah, at the end of the last episode, when Danko pushed him out of the window, he immediately flew to get Claire because he knew stuff was about to go down.
Yeah.
So they go to Mexico, and I'm like, they can still extradite you in Mexico. You should have went to Costa Rica. I'm just saying.
Well, you were talking about how they don't have chemistry, but don't you think that's a good thing, seeing as they're like estranged father and daughter?
I mean, like, nothing they do is believable for me. Never has been.
Do you blame that more on Nathan being a douchebag, or do you blame that on just
I blame it on the actors. Like, okay. I'm talking about, like, the actual actors. They just are not good together in a scene. If it's intentional, fine, but I mean, like, I just don't believe it, and I literally fast forward through these scenes.
So, yeah, all this really serves is, obviously with what's coming up, but you need that kind of Claire and Nathan, not reconciliation, but like time together, because they really haven't had that much time together, and probably because they have no chemistry, like you say. But there's occasional bits where previously that Claire's tried to reach out to Nathan, and Nathan's just like put the shut down on it for whatever reasons, whether it was because it was 4 months later, or but you can always tell that Nathan's trying to look after her, but then also it kind of feels like he's not trying to look after her, he's just trying to keep her out the way because he feels maybe ashamed of like their relationship or lack thereof a relationship. Do you agree?
I don't know what to make. I mean, they had a strong start when it was revealed who her biological parents were for real. And then they never, I don't know, they never followed up. It was so much potential, and then they just let it fall to the wayside. Even with Meredith, she had so much potential as a character, and look how that character ended.
Yeah. But Meredith did have that kind of, not redemption, but she did have that kind of redemption with Claire, because obviously, she saved Claire, or Claire, they both saved each other. But so this is obviously, and look what happened to her at the end of it, and now Claire's getting her chance for redemption, but just to get to know her father, and we obviously know where that goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that's specifically the only reason why they have this happen, is what happens later on, which is just like, ugh.
But anyway, it starts off with the only way I can really describe it is Nathan's trying to be the big man, and he's essentially having a dick swinging contest with these 3 guys just to show that he's a bad man.
Are we allowed to say that?
Well, that's essentially what he's doing.
I think that the term you're looking for that's more appropriate is a pissing contest.
There we go. Well, in England we're a bit more obvious with stuff. We don't, hide things, but... Wait, that sounds weird. We do hide things, but yeah. Anyway. And it kind of feels like Nathan's trying to, not one-up, but yeah, he's trying to one-up HRG and just be like, well, if you were with your adopted dad, he would know what to do, but, I'm your bio dad, I also know what to do, and, I used to do this all the time. And he says Philippines, and I had a little bit of a hype out moment, and then I was like, oh no, yeah, it's Philippines. But anyway. But yeah, obviously he bites off more than he can chew. But I do like the fact that he's using a non-powered solution to kind of help him with his problem, even though it doesn't really help out because he kind of, collapses in a drunken heap. But at the same time, that was always what Nathan was about. He was always about trying to find non-powered solutions to everything because he was a self-loather. But yeah.
Yeah. I just find this whole section weird. They're on the run in Mexico with very little money. They're at this crappy motel, and the lady's because Claire looks nothing like him. She's like, judgy, judgy. And so for money, they head over to this local, bar, because it's spring break, because of course it is. And they make this, bet with some of the frat boys, some dude bros, to make money. And Nathan, like you said, passes out. And Claire, because of her regenerative abilities, can't get drunk. Bummer! But also pretty sweet.
Yeah.
She wins.
Exactly. And it does feel like, Nathan's trying to win Claire over and trying to seek approval for her. And the only way he really... Or maybe he's just trying to run away from his problems by just drinking them away. But then they have that kind of little moment where... she explains to him what she saw in him, and, he was meant to be Superman, which was kind of lame line, but still. And it seems like Nathan's kind of seen the error of his ways, and now he's going to, do something about it. And then he wakes up the next morning, and it's kind of like a one-night stand, he's just like, well, I was drunk, so nothing's going to happen.
But then, the end of their section is basically, Claire, she yells at him, you're not trying hard enough, and she leaves, and then, she's waiting on a bus, and then Nathan shows up. He's like, I'm gonna fly back to San Diego. Come with me. And I'm like, ugh.
And he gets her a necklace back.
Yeah, get that dude out of here.
So yeah, that's basically all they have to.
And I literally have never seen that necklace before. Just saying.
Well, it comes back again.
Yeah, it comes back again.
You might, yeah.
But before this, like, we'd literally never seen it.
Mm.
So anyway.
Shall we go on to Angela and Peter? Because, religion! Yay.
Oh, heroes. Every time they try it, I have that exact reaction. I would have stayed holed up in the head of this Statue of Liberty because nobody's allowed to go up there anymore since 9/11. That's literally the perfect hiding place if you can sneak in there undetected.
Yeah.
But they go to a church instead. Okay.
First things first, I don't understand. Well, she kind of explains it, and that kind of the backstory to it is obviously that's where they got married, and I like those little explainers. It's not just like, oh, we have to hide out in the church, but I don't know. It just seems like it's a reason for Peter to have a go at God, and that bit kind of is really weird. Like, he's never really been that kind of character. It would have made a bit more sense for it to be Nathan at this point, because obviously he had that little religious
bout
spell, religious bout / spell in season 2, but yeah.
So she can't. I find this very no. It actually makes sense for the signs of dreaming and stuff. He's like, why don't you take some sleeping pills? And she's like, no, it has to be natural sleep. It has to be earned. And I'm just like, because if you're drunk,
yeah,
you can't dream. Your body's like, I'm not going to entertain you after this.
I like that little explanation. They've started explaining powers and explaining how they work, and not just doing it like they explain the shape-shifting thing in the next couple of episodes. They kind of started explaining little bits and pieces, which kind of gives you a good context for them. So I really like the fact that she has to earn. I like the word earn her dreams, because obviously it's something that she feels she needs to earn. She's blaming herself for all the problems that have gone wrong with her family.
It is her fault.
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, but also at the same time, she can't take full blame, because obviously Nathan is his own man, even though he's very easily manipulated. But she's very good at that mother's guilt thing, which is, she does that a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I really totally did not like Peter praying to God, and he's like, I saved the world and you did nothing for me. And I'm like, sweetie, you're Catholic. You should. It's just weird because they're Catholic, and it's this is the first time it's really been kind of brought up outside of Nathan, and so it's just that's not how it works. I mean, you're supposed to be altruistic. I mean, if you want to save the world, then obviously it's about altruism, not getting something in return. So and Peter, you're right, he was never like that, and that just rubbed me the wrong way.
But yeah.
Kevin Alejandro's in this episode, by the way, is Agent Jenkins, and if you don't know
him from,
True Blood, he was in season 2 of Arrow as Sebastian Blood, he was in Southland. This dude's been everywhere.
Yeah. And every time I see that name, I keep on thinking of Hercules, but it's never Hercules. The guy who the TV program Hercules.
Oh, Kevin Sorbo?
Yeah, for some reason I think it's Alejandro, but yeah. Anyway, that's weird. Yes.
So the reason why I bring that up is because they're interrupted from the agency, and then Peter and Angela hide in the confessional, and I'm like, and then so Angela tries to confess, and she tells him about all that stuff, and then the door opens, and it's HRG, and he's just like, nope, nothing here.
Once again, HRG saving the day. He's done it so many times. He saved Peter so many times. But yeah, what does she say? She says something about when her powers first manifested, no one listened to her, and that's why she did what she did to try and save the world. Hence why, she turned to manipulation and lies, even though it cost her, in a sense, her family. So yeah.
Yeah. But, really, honestly, Arthur was a million times worse than her. He was so brain raping her and just was, messed up. And so, I feel for Angela, but we learn more about it. I don't think that really adds to my, thing about Angela in 1961, this next upcoming episode, but I don't know. This right here, for some reason, I felt a lot of sympathy for Angela.
Yes. Yes. So, I think what they're doing now is they're doing like really good storytelling in Heroes at the moment because they're just focusing on like a couple of characters an episode as opposed to just trying to fit them all into one. And this one's that kind of Angela, kind of Danko, Sylar centric episode, and everything else is kind of happening. Like you don't see Hero or like Parkman at all. You only see like the same couple of characters, and I think that works well for Heroes, not just trying to fit everyone in. And also, you've kind of got rid of some of the lesser characters, and by that I mean like Tracy. So yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think and so I've noticed that our talks have been really short, but it's only because they've been focusing on these little mini character development arcs and stuff. It's not that we don't like it. It's just that stuff happens, but it's not like as much as it was in like say season 1 where we had like 20 characters to cover.
Yeah, and it's easier just to go through everything in one long kind of thing. Also, you'll know if we didn't like the episode because we make it very obvious. So yes,
like, literally, you just come out and say it
straight away. I didn't like this episode.
Okay, so let's head over to Emil Danko in Arlington, Virginia. There's like these 3 agents that are trying to apprehend a dude named James Martin, who is the shapeshifter. And Jenkins, aka Kevin Alejandro, recounts how he found 3 men lying there when he arrived. And like one was like shot at close range. There was like no scuffle. And then we don't know what Martin's ability is at the time, but they identified him. Now this is where Heroes Reborn probably is going to have their own Molly Walker system. Remember? Because they're comparing his DNA from a national database.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, he didn't even... like, it's fine and dandy to use it for criminals, but using it on your own, like, citizens that haven't done anything technically wrong, it's, like, very Minority Report-ish. Yes. And, like, it's actually getting more and more common through, like, all of the like English speaking like countries and stuff like that. So this is like a real issue that kind of like touched a nerve with me in this particular section.
Especially with what Renatus is essentially like the new company, and I wouldn't see, they seem like they're going to be the big bad, so I wouldn't see them having any qualms, especially after the things that happened in Heroes Reborn, like this just kind of happening in the background, kind of like Person of Interest. They've got the machine out there, but no one really knows about it. But it's a big civil liberties kind of thing that everyone's being watched. So yeah. But you do kind of know, like if you've read the graphic novel, you know straight away what's happening because obviously, you've read the graphic novel and it kind of builds up to this, and you obviously know that kind of Martin or Jenkins is Martin at this moment because of his shape-shifting ability.
Yeah.
But yes.
This was good. It was so good. And then like Noah chastises Danko for sending his men without knowing the intended target, and I totally agree. And it was totally not like Danko to me personally.
Especially it kind of shows how he's kind of not losing control, but he's kind of getting more in deep and he's making more and more mistakes.
When he said it, he was desperate.
Yeah, and HRG obviously has done his homework on Danko because he says, you co-opted the natives before, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, well, that's kind of what I did. And, if it was something that you would do, it was something you did. So maybe that's why in the end of it, Danko starts working with Sylar, because he sees, and he's not obviously going to say anything to HRG about it because he's basically taking HRG's advice, or one of us and one of them. So yeah.
Well, the rub of it all is that HRG actually didn't do the homework. It was Angela who probably told him.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, this was great. And then like they talk what happens next? Danko gets in their car, right?
Yes. Oh god. The Sylar disappearing act.
Ugh.
Like that just makes no sense because it's not even like, there was time for him to do that, because what happens is he gets in the car, he basically says, Sylar says, have you got my gifts? And basically puts it out there that they should work together to try and get the shapeshifter. Or to get this Martin's character. They don't know that he's a shapeshifter at this point. And Danko goes to get his gun, and literally it's a shot to his gun, a camera shot to his gun. He turns around, and in that time, Sylar's disappeared from the back of the car, and he's on a rooftop. So yeah, that bit.
Sylar is Batman. That's what they were trying to tell us.
Yes, he obviously has been. Well, no, if we're going to take this like in our theory crafting kind of ways, he has. No, we can't even do that because oh, maybe with the whole empathy thing, he's been near the Haitian. Maybe he empathized with him when he was using his power on on what's his name on Arthur Petrelli back in the end of what was his title? Villains. And he's got the Haitian's power to disappear and appear. So that extra power that has been there. But yes.
Nope, he's Batman.
Yeah.
He's a bizarre Batman. Yeah. So that was really weird. And it's weird that Sylar kind of gave Eric Doyle to him.
Yes, definitely. But it's that kind of peace offering. The first one was obviously the rabbit, which was weird, but that was the only thing he kind of had on him. And then bringing Doyle to him kind of is like a peace offering. And then also there's this weird bit in a couple of episodes where it seems like he's got Doyle's powers as well, but We'll get on that bit.
Yeah. I think he probably did empathize because he wanted to show Danko that he was, you know what I mean? And they bring it up later in this very episode, right?
Yes.
But so yeah, they realized that the man Danko was talking to was Martin, and that he has the ability to shapeshift. And then Danko and his men give chase, but Martin escapes. And then, back at Danko catches Sylar at Martin's house, and he's like,
they're both basically doing their homework at this point. They're both trying to work out about Martin's and what kind of person he is, and obviously it kind of feels like they're both in detective mode, but also at the same time they're kind of scouting each other out. So obviously Sylar's trying to get under his skin by saying, Danko, you're a loner. You're very much like Martin's. You don't have many keepsakes on the wall, whereas Martin's does. And then at the same time, Danko's going, well, I know about you. You like to take on accents and take on characters, and shapeshifting would be the ultimate power. I really like that they bring that up because it kind of gives credence to why he puts on the accents all the time. So, yeah. And Sylar's essentially offering Danko a way out, a way to catch all specials, is if they both catch Martin's, he can help him from the inside, and then also Sylar's getting out of it that he'll be the only special left, and that's kind of what he's always wanted. He's always wanted to be special, and what's more special than being the only kind of Evo out there? And then they kind of work on this macabre deal that they're both going to work together.
Yeah, they go to this club. It's called Garden of Eden, right?
Yes.
For religion! And so that's where they track him, and then they lose him in the crowd, and then through some subterfuge, Sylar kills him, and it's a done deal. This was messed up, actually.
But it's weird because obviously after Danko's kind of forced Nathan out because he has powers. Now he's kind of turning to another special to try and help him round up people with the powers. And it's kind of the better the devil you know kind of deal. But obviously he feels like he can kind of control Sylar, whereas Nathan, he doesn't feel like he can control. But, we all know how that goes. So, yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all that happens until, Angela calls, a family meeting, basically.
Yeah.
How she does that, I forget. It gets a little fuzzy.
There's bits and pieces with HRG, but I think we've kind of... Oh, yes. Sylar... obviously, Sylar is... no. Martin's takes on Sylar's appearance, and they use that to kind of fake out that Sylar's dead. But I like Noah's reaction to kind of seeing Sylar's corpse, because obviously he looks, suspicious, and
I thought that they were trying to say that he was jealous.
Yes, I think that as well. Like, well, how can Danko do this and I can't? I've been trying to get him for ages. I've nearly killed him like so many times, and Danko kind of does it on the first try. So yeah. Do you think? So you obviously think that he's jealous, and that's the only reason why he kind of carries on pushing on with why Sylar isn't Sylar.
I mean, it's jealousy, but also Noah is a smart man. It's very suspicious.
Mm.
So, and plus, it's like the great whale. He's just obsessed with it. He's a dog with a bone. He's not going to let it go. Something doesn't go right, he's going to follow that hunch.
Mm. Cool. So, I guess that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good. We can get into the review.
Sweet. Cool. So, her favorite character in the episode?
I'm gonna go with Danko for the sheer cockiness of thinking that he could actually ever even keep Sylar under control. Like, that is insane.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Sylar because I like his because basically him and Danko are kind of playing each other. But we know that Sylar's, a more a main cast member, so he's gonna win out at the end. But it still kind of keeps you guessing, and I do like the fact that they kind of started to make Sylar a lot more smart than just I need to kill people kind of thing. He's kind of gaining these abilities now that kind of are a lot better to him, as opposed to just like shattering or something like that. But then he kind of defeats that in the next couple of episodes.
I was going to say, was that foreshadowing?
Yes. Character interactions?
Angela and Peter for me.
Fair enough. How comes?
I don't know. It's been a while since they interacted, and I like that Peter wasn't just like open arms and gung ho. He actually really was like, questioning her and making her feel bad and uncomfortable, and he had every right to.
Okay. I'm going to go with Danko and Sylar when they're in Martin's place and they kind of are sizing each other up. Because I just think it's a really nice kind of game of cat and mouse, and you don't know which one's the cat and which one's the mouse, but yeah.
Lines? 321.
Into Asylum. Into As. Lines, I was just like you, my head in the clouds. I was going to be a teacher, then my power manifested, and the dreams came. Visions of a bloody future of deceit and death, the apocalypse. That's Angela to Peter. So yeah, how about you?
Danko to Sylar. If we succeed, you'll be the only one left. Sylar back to Danko. Funny how that works.
Yeah. So yes.
Also, the line where Nathan says in Spanish, "Yo soy su padre," I'm her father. I'm just like...
So, grade. What would you give this?
Oh, I hate being a Debbie Downer, but this is like C- territory for me. I don't know. It plotted, and like, I get it. I don't know. The 3 sections that they presented us felt a little disjointed. It was basically kind of... HRG was the thread that was holding it all together. Nathan makes the comment about him. He saves Peter and Angela, and he is now suspicious of Danko now that Sylar is dead. And so I think that was kind of a really thin thread to have run through the whole episode, even though it is HRG.
Oh, so there's something else that I wanted to ask you about in saying that. What do you think of Nathan, like, going to Claire, just being like, would a thank you be all right? Some gratitude? What did you think about him, like, thinking that Claire should forgive him? Or
I wanted her to smack the hell out of her for that comment.
I know, right? It's just, like, so random, but then obviously it's something very Nathan in that the fact that, he's doing all these things, but he feels like his daughter should be thanking him for, like,
he thinks he shouldn't be doing it all. It's like guys who, like, say, "Oh, I pay my child support." Well, you're not with the mother. You're not married to her. It is your child. You want a freaking medal?
Yeah. The grade I'm going to give this, I think I'm going to give it like a C plus B minus, more on the kind of C plus kind of vein of it, because I think the Sylar and Danko, I think the Sylar and Danko storyline is very strong, like very good stuff, and you obviously know it's not going to end well for anyone, but I think that them two playing around with each other is a very good kind of story. The rest of this stuff, like I feel like, you know, the Nathan and Claire stuff kind of had to happen because, you know, you haven't had them in together like at all. Whether or not it was good or not is a different matter. And the religion thing kind of just brought it down for me, but then at the same time it gave us more Mama Petrelli. So yeah.
Yep. That sounds about right. Is that it?
Yeah, the only trivia I have is the transition to the To Be Continued is radically different.
Yeah, the way they ended this was with that song, We Gotta Get Out of This Place by the Animals, and the only reason why I know this song is because it showed up on Supernatural a couple of seasons. I was like, wait, that sounds familiar. Then I was like, oh, they used it in Heroes too. But yeah, it was weird. It was like some kind of like Ocean's 11 setup.
And the original script called for the three college guys to start a brawl after losing, but obviously that got taken out because it would have.
Right? I remember seeing
they put it up on NBC here, NBC.com/heroes. So yes,
it's gone. Don't bother to go look for it.
Yep.
All that stuff's been gone for years.
So the only thing we have left to do is go over the live tweeters. So the people who live tweeted along with the episode, they were either tweeting, retweeting, or faving, were most_shady, Peter Rose 92, English Idiot 101, soft_guitar 60, and Paraceline. So thank you for joining in the live tweet.
It's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at PrimatechFiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn. And if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80-plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that can interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
Alright, time to wrap it up. So yeah, thanks for listening to this episode of Primatech Files, where we discuss episode 321, Into Asylum. We hope you enjoyed it. We want to remind you to keep sending in those emails. Don't forget to interact with our Facebook post. Don't be afraid to comment, like, and share, as well as reach out to us on Twitter.
Also, give our Facebook a like, because it's trailing in the followers department compared to our Tumblr and and Twitter. So yeah, facebook.com/PrimatechFiles. Give it a like.
All right. Well, Ricky, you know what to do.
Download the podcast, save the world.